Hi, this is Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is a video tutorial for the new Boston. Now, in this video tutorial series, we're going to be looking at AJAX. Now, AJAX isn't specifically relative to PHP. However, many PHP applications or websites you may create with PHP can be massively enhanced with AJAX, because what we can do is we can create applications that allow us to, say, click a button or type some kind of data in, and we can grab data from a database or a text file, or just simply include a PHP file onto our page that gives us dynamic information, so updated information. And AJAX has been used for a long time now, and recently started to be created more popular. We're in 2011 when this video is being recorded, so it's extremely popular on the web. So why is AJAX special? What makes it special? And I'm just going to talk to you a bit about the features of AJAX that create a more dynamic web experience, if you like. Now, AJAX first of all stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML, and what this means is that we can process data through behind the scenes of our website, just using JavaScript and XHTML as well, or HTML. So it asynchronously sends a value and retrieves something without having to reload the entire page. So if you think about a web page in general, you have, let's say we're on index.php at the moment, you have some data on a page and you click a form, for example, to maybe submit a registration. Or you might just click a button to retrieve a list of values that you've typed in a search box, for example. So you may have a search box on your web page, this may return a value. Now usually you would use a form submit, so you would say, let's just break out of our PHP tags, we would say form action equals something, method equals something, come down here, we would create a submit button. And what would happen is when we press this submit button, we're taken to the form action. Now what we can do is we can specify buttons just on their own, and what these do is they will send a call a function inside of our header. So if we were to set up a standard page like this, start the head tag and then end the head tag, start the body, end the body. So a very badly written out HTML document here. We've got head, we can include some JavaScript, so we could say script type equals text / JavaScript, and then end that there. So this is a general setup for a website. We've got an input button here. What we can do is we could say on click equals, and then we could call a function within JavaScript. So we could say update page, for example. Now up here we may have a function in JavaScript called update page, which is going to call and work with AJAX. We're not going to give any examples in this introduction video, but it would call this function and it would process some kind of AJAX code, if you like, or the methodology or the methods used with AJAX to actually update a certain area on the page. So for example, below here we could have a div id equals page, for example. Okay, so this might grab a PHP document and it might update this div with the contents of the PHP document. So this is obviously a very basic example. We're just updating perhaps some data from a PHP file and popping it onto a page, but using this method we won't actually refresh the page. Now I've just given you sort of like an example of how it may work. This code obviously might not be how we actually do it, but it's very similar, and this is just the general method that we will use in order to update values without having to refresh a page. So why can this be useful in everyday applications? Well, for example, when we go to over to Google, you'll notice that we have a feature in Google called auto suggest, and what happens is when we I'll just briefly explain. When we look at Google, we type in a value into a text box which is placed in the center of the screen. So we start typing let's say PHP. Now what AJAX well, the part that AJAX plays in this is what it will do. It will automatically get the updated value of this text box. So let's say we just start typing. We'll create an input type so we can search box. Sorry. Input type equals text and name equals search box. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to start typing something, for example, into here. So we might start typing PHP. Now, as we type P, it's going to get the value of this text box, which is equal to P at the moment, and it's going to search a database for the most popular searches relating or that start with P. Then we're going to say PH, so it's going to and then it's going to then re-update itself without obviously having to refresh the page, because if you were to refresh the page every time you typed something, you'd have absolute pandemonium, and it would not work. So we've got PH, and then we type P, and it's going to find the most search for results with PHP. So that's just generally how it works. So this uses AJAX. Google Suggest uses AJAX, and a variety of other websites too as well. Facebook uses AJAX, and this uses it in a really interesting way. When you're looking at a Facebook, say, news feed, you'll be looking at the news feed straight up and down, and you'll have your mouse still. Now you'll look at your page and nothing will update. Then what you'll do is you'll move your mouse very slightly. It only has to literally be 1 pixel that you move your mouse, and your page will actually update. Now what happens here is we have an on mouse move or on mouse event trigger. So when you move your mouse, bits of the page are updated using AJAX, so it will be automatically updated from the database using AJAX. The same with Twitter as well. When you create a new tweet, you might tweet in a box like this and click submit or hit enter, and it will automatically show your most recent tweet. It won't actually refresh the page. The same with probably the feeds in Twitter. You'll automatically see new feeds open. So this is why we use AJAX and why it's so important on the web today, when we don't want boring static websites. We want everything to be easy to use and dynamic, and that's another reason we use AJAX, is because it's really easy to use a website that's been enhanced with AJAX. Particularly with PHP, where we're gaining values from a database. We can do other things with AJAX, but for now we're going to be looking at AJAX closely related to PHP, because AJAX is so closely related to PHP, where we grab things from the database. Obviously it can be used with other web programming languages, but obviously because this is PHP tutorials, we're going to be looking at AJAX and PHP. So that's a bit about AJAX, how it works, what it is, why we should use it. Now in the next tutorials coming up, we're going to be looking at how to, first of all, the basics of that, and then we're going to be creating some sample programs to grab some data from databases depending on what we do on the page.